Honest J. Nowak. Coming at you live. Alright. A pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to HJN. Yeah, I gotta tell you, the cold front that's coming around is pretty impressive. Like, I was actually just out there, if you can't already tell. Man, I'm gonna wait a little bit before I take this whole thing off. So, until then, let's just get back to work here. So, a few more days of mini marathons, if you will, and I might be back to the square that I want to be at, with one episode a day, pretty much. So, credit cards, let's just go ahead and do it. Now, well, I probably shouldn't show it on camera, but you know what? It's good to say that I have my own credit card and even my very own credit line. Now, of course, a credit line is just as important as having the card itself, because how else are you supposed to make transactions in at least 90% of all places that currently exist? Whether they're local or corporate or whatnot, doesn't really matter too much, but having a credit card on you is going to be rather important. As you probably know by now, personal finance would show that credit simply means buy now, pay later. As in, at the end of every month is when you get to pay up these sorts of transactions. And the transactions that take place at the time are typically used with the cards themselves. And these cards can in fact be used for a variety of different transactions. Locally, web-wise, and many others. But when you really get down to it though, there's a lot of ramifications that seem to take place that pretty much offset a lot of expectations that most people might have, especially if they're new to credit lines of any sorts. But being that I've had a couple years of experience so far, I could pretty much tell you that my own feedback would show that having credit actually is not very hard if you really get used to it. Being that I'm actually in charge of an entire credit line, and there's actually several other people out there that also operate it with me, so I'm not only in charge of paying the bills every month for everybody who's using it, but also I'm in charge of paying my own. So my own plus everybody else's would pretty much be a pretty big unprecedented amount that would happen every single month. But being the fact that I'm going to be having a brand new job very soon with a lot better income on mind, that's going to be, I guess, a pretty big helpful solution to some of these problems that I could be coming into contact with at any point in time very soon, such as debt. Of course, this is a horrible time to have debt in any point in time, because with all the different things relating to economic inflation, plus other things out there, you really gotta worry about the fact that having too much of credit-related debt is certainly going to be quite a devastating, tragic sort of outcome. And I can hardly imagine myself exactly what that would be like, but then again, because this is practically my first time ever having my entire credit line to my own, I just can't really be sure about that. I'm sure a lot of people out there might have had some bad experiences with it, and maybe more often than not, having the cards with them also poses some risks, such as if they were ever lost or stolen. Of course, that can easily be fixed up by simply calling the credit card companies and having them canceled. Or I would just call them terminated. So this way, thieves cannot use them anymore. There's also a lot of other things to it, but I feel like that explaining them all in greater detail would certainly take up a bit more of my time than necessary. And besides, it almost feels like I've said a lot of personal stuff right here in front of the camera. So with that in mind, I'll just go ahead and end it right here. But if you want to see more, go down to my channel and make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.